Yes, madam.
So any doubt in last class? Do anyone have any doubt in last class? Okay, so if no, we will go to the next topic. So next topic is about rehabilitation team. So as last class we saw what is rehabilitation and like how it is given. So today we will see who and all playing a major role in rehabilitation team and how this rehabilitation is given in various levels. Okay, so we will see about that. So first is so rehabilitation is like first is in this class you will know what is rehabilitation and what are the approaches in rehabilitation, what are the team members involved in the rehabilitation and what is their role and what are the various rehabilitation delivery care. Okay. So first is what is rehabilitation? So rehabilitation is the act of restoring whatever is lost. So maybe like rehabilitating means if you say because of floods in Terengganu, if the people are lost their house, so the government will rehabilitate to bring back to their normal life. So rehabilitate means they will relocate them or they will be giving them a new house and other things. So that is called rehabilitation. So rehabilitation is nothing but restoring whatever is lost due to the particular disease. So sometimes here we may not be able to restore completely, we will be able to restore to a near normal level. So that is also possible that is also included in rehabilitation. So this restoring will be physical, mental, and it will be like physical and mental. Is that clear? So that is the like that is so we not only rehabilitate to bring back their physical functions, we also do for their mental functions or cognitive aspects. So that's why as a team we play a major role. So here our main aim is to return their daily living to the normal or to near normal, and this is specifically designed for each person. So we cannot generalize the rehabilitation. We cannot generalize what is the rehabilitation, or we cannot generalize rehabilitation of a spinal cord injury patient. So maybe we can see what are the things to concentrate in that particular spinal cord rehabilitation, but each person will have a different aspect. So you need to tailor made or you need to customize for each person. So next is like you need to utilize what are the existing capacity. Sometimes what will happen, they may not be able to restore completely. So you need to see what is the existing and you give modifications and make them to live a near normal life. Okay, so this rehabilitation will help them to add life or will make them worthwhile living. So this rehabilitation is normally given at the tertiary level. So tertiary means our medical care normally will be having three levels. One is preventive, curative, and last one is the tertiary level, that is your rehabilitation. So we prevent certain disease, but if the disease is coming, then we cure certain disease. Then after the curative stage, you will have this rehabilitation stage. So this is the third stage. So the role of rehabilitation is to minimize the disability and handicap. So if you don't have this rehabilitation in the society, you will be seeing a lot of people left disabled, or a lot of people will be just having we will be having a lot of handicapped person in the society. So without rehabilitation, the society will face a maximum number of disabled and handicapped person. So the main role of rehabilitation is to limit or minimize the disability, disabled and handicapped person. So we make the person, so for example, if a person is handicapped, we make them to have a differently abled life. So they may not be able to run their same life, but they will be able to run a different life. So this cannot be given by a single person. This is always a teamwork. So this rehabilitation is normally approached in three different ways. One is multidisciplinary approach, another one is interdisciplinary approach, then third one is transdisciplinary approach. So in multidisciplinary approach, it is a collaborative practice of many people working together. So like in this multidisciplinary, different healthcare providers or different team members will be playing together, or they will be doing the work in a synchronized manner. So if a patient comes, you may have doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, occupation therapists, then depending on the problem, speech therapists, like that. So many multiple health workers will be coming together and working collaboratively. So that is called multidisciplinary approach. So here they deliver the maximum quality of healthcare to the particular person, and they will help them to improve in their lifestyle. Then interdisciplinary approach means it is a group of healthcare professionals from different disciplines. So different disciplines, maybe like, it is not that from a same hospital, maybe a different hospital, or different level. Maybe a government social worker will play a role. So they may not be they will not be working in one roof, but they will be working in different sectors. And for a benefit of a particular person, this different sector people will come together and work as a team to improve the particular person patient care. Is that clear? So the difference between the first and second is, the first is in one setup, we will be having multiple healthcare workers working together for the benefit of the person. In the second one, these people may be working in different sectors, different disciplines, and they will be coming together for the benefit of a single person. Okay, so third one is transdisciplinary approach, where one person will be working, but if he wants any skills help, then the other person will be helping him in the needed skills, or he will just share the needed skills. So here, if you see, it is not many people working. It is one person will be working, and if he needs any help, the other person will just help him or guide him to give the provide the healthcare needs. So for example, a patient is there, like I will be helping or I will be working with the patient, and if I need any one of your help, I will be asking your help. You will be guiding me with the needs. Okay, so you will not directly interfere in that particular person's rehabilitation. So this is called transdisciplinary approach. So here, if you see, one team member needs to have many cross training. So I may one person needs to act as a physiotherapist. He may needs to act as a speech therapist. He may needs to act as a respiratory therapist, like that. So this is called like cross training in several areas. Okay, so we have three types of approaches. One is multidisciplinary, other is interdisciplinary, third is transdisciplinary. Multidisciplinary means in one health sector, or you can say in one hospital, many healthcare members will be there. They will be working together for the benefit of a particular person. Second is interdisciplinary. Many different healthcare providers will be there. They will be located in different areas, and they will come together and work for the benefit of the particular person. This transdisciplinary is only one person is going to work for the particular person, but he will be getting the guidance or help from the different disciplinary people, but the training will be given by only one person. So that is called transdisciplinary approach. I hope you understood this. If you have any doubt, you just raise your hand. Is that clear? Or you can unmute your mic and you can raise the question. So next is, what is the role or what is the aim of the rehabilitation? So there should be some aim of a particular sector, why they are opening, isn't it? Same like that for rehabilitation, we have four different aims. One is we have to restore the function, whatever is lost, to bring the minimal functional impairment. Okay, so if a person is there, if he has lost the ability to do certain works, we need to bring back his ability to the maximum limit. So in this manner, you will be able to minimize his disability, or you will be able to minimize his impairment. So this is called restorative aim. So restorative means we bring back what it is lost, maybe to the normal level or to the near normal level. Okay. Second is supportive. So supportive is we help them to reduce the functional difficulties and compensate for the permanent deficit. So sometimes we may not be able to restore completely. In this aspect, we support them we support them with any walking aid, walking stick, or any uh, processes and orthoses or any other lifestyle modification. So we give them the support in that manner, and we try to compensate for his losses. So that is called supportive measures. Then third is palliative treatment. So normally palliative treatment is given at the end stage of a person or terminal stage of a person to eliminate or to reduce complications like bed sore and pain. So maybe like we know we will not be able to save that particular person. We may not be able to give back his functions, but we let the person die without any complication, or we help the person to be happy till the end of their life. So that is called terminal treatment, or you can also see that as palliative treatment. The next is preventive rehabilitation. Preventive rehabilitation is education and awareness about the condition and prevent the particular complications or deformity. Okay, so these are the uh, four different aims of rehabilitation. So either you restore, if you can't restore, you support them and bring back their normal functions. If they are at the end stage of life where you will not be able to where you will not be able to bring back to their normal, bring back their life, then you help them to die peacefully. Then fourth is to prevent the rehabilitation. So uh, these are the four aims of rehabilitation. So next, who and all will be there in the rehabilitation team? So it is a very broader we know that the rehabilitation team members will be we have a very lot of people involved in the rehabilitation team, but we will not but it doesn't mean that all of them will be working for a particular person. It depends on the need of the person. Since like we the disease and the symptoms will be in a very broader aspect, we may not be able to group them. So we have a very bigger team, and from the team we will be selecting certain team peoples for the particular person according to the need. So the this rehabilitation team is divided into three. One is medical, paramedical, and socio-vocational. So medical team will be looking in the starting stage. Then paramedical team will be looking at the middle and the early rehabilitation, socio-vocational will be looking at the other aspect of their life, like their monetary benefits, their job, and other aspects will be taken care by the socio-vocational teams. So these are some of the team members. So we normally it will be like many members are there. I have just taken few who we will be maximum utilizing them in the rehabilitation. So these are the team members. So this is the other way to explain the team members. So where patient is the main center, with the patient, we need to choose all those things. Then, so we will see now, we will see what are the roles of each and every rehabilitation team member. So we are not going to see all the roles of the team members. We like in this class we will see like few of the team roles of few of the team members who will be playing a major role along with the physiotherapist. Okay, so like this rehabilitation will be in the aspect of in the view of a physiotherapist. Okay, first is patient. So patient is the main member whom we are working for and whom we are working with. So without the patient, none of the things will work out. So patient is the major or center of every center of the rehabilitation team. Then along with the patient, another important person are their caregivers, or you can say their family members. So apart from the patient, the caregivers is the most important person. So we need to concentrate, because without the caregivers help, we will not be able to achieve anything. So the caregivers should be very supportive, and they have to have a good educate. We need to educate them properly. They have to have a good knowledge about what is going on. Then only we will be able to get their decide things. Otherwise, whatever treatment you give also, then it will be like whatever treatment you give, then it will be just what you can say, it will be just it will not reach to a proper manner. So you may be going to meet them and give them a treatment. Then later on, like at the end, if you see, after that time, they will not be able to they will not be able they will not do the exercises, or they will not be able to achieve the complete goal. Okay, so without the caregivers, nothing will be possible. So in addition, we need to know about the caregivers also, because caregivers has a very unique stress. So they need to deal with the patient. They need to encourage the patient, motivate the person, as well as they have to do all the needful for the patient. Then later they have to look after the other members also. Like if they are the sole breadwinners, then they have to look after their job. They have to look after the other family members. So it is really a stressful role. So the caregiver's role will be a very, very stressful role. And sometimes it will be time consuming, and sometimes it will be more confusing also. So first is they have to uh, investigate or suggest the resources to ensure independence in the home for the disability family member. Then they have to facilitate and provide physical care for the impaired or physical care for the patient. Then they have to contribute financially to the home. Then they have to take care of the other family members. They have to respond to the ups and downs in the rehabilitation care. So we don't say that every time there will be a ups in the rehabilitation process. There may be some downs also. Someday they will be good, someday they will be down. So the caretaker have to be responsible for all those things. Then the caretaker should be like educated, so that he understands the plan, or understands the importance of the rehabilitation. Okay, so you need to explain to the care members. It is not that that is like, yeah, it is not the physiotherapist alone. So whosoever in the rehabilitation team have to explain certain things to the caregivers. So one is what is what about the disease, or about the injury, then what is the effect and causes of the injury. Okay, so effect and causes of the injury, then any potential complication of the injury. So that also you have to explain. You need to explain the medications, side effects, then its function. You need to explain about the exercises, then how it is going to help them, how it is going to affect them. Okay, then you have to explain what are the social and emotional tasks of a person in rehabilitation. So about all these things you have to explain to the caregiver, so that the caregiver understands everything, then uses appropriately with the patient. Okay, so the caregiver should know where to give motivation, where to give encouragement, where to be very strict, where to be very flexible with the patient. Then how to make the person to do the particular aspects, maybe an exercise, maybe taking a medication, or maybe doing some training session. So everything they have to they should be able to make them to do it. Okay, so the caregiver should be in a group. So you can also make them as a group. Normally, the rehabilitation will be like a group work rather than an individual thing, because when you make it in group, it has a lot of benefits. So this caregiver also will be in a supportive group, so that he doesn't feel lonely. He doesn't feel that he's the only caregiver who is suffering with a particular person. So he has to have a social interaction with the other members also, and get to know the things where what all these people will undergo. So for example, a person is taking care of a spinal care injury person, then he need to understand what are the difficulties of spinal care injury person, then only he will be able to take care of him. So these are the important things. So this all will be coming under the benefits of a supportive group. So when you make a group, and when you mingle them in that particular group, when you mingle them, include the caregiver in the particular group, then he will be able to work effectively, because he will not have loneliness. He will be able to interact safely in a safe environment. He will have a sense of empowerment. He will be able to improve the coping up skills. He will be able to speak and express his feeling honestly. He will be able to reduce his stress and depression, and he will be able to understand the situation, and he will know all the important information of the medical research and other things. Okay, so these are the benefits when you are putting them in a supportive group. Then next member is physiatrist. So normally this physiatrist is the leader of the team. When you say rehabilitation, then rehabilitation is headed by a physiatrist. Is that clear? So he will be having a MBBS degree. Along with that, he will also have a rehabilitation degree, physical medicine and rehabilitation degree. Okay, so he is the main leader of the team. So what is his role? He is responsible for the physical medicine and other interventions that is happening to the patient. So he needs to evaluate the patient. He needs to plan the whole rehabilitation. He has to organize the rehabilitation. And that means he has to first include, he will assess the person, then he will identify what is the aim and goal of the person. And according to that, he will select what are the team members for that particular patient, then organize the particular all the team members, and then he will give the directions, and he will coordinate with all the team members. So he will have the complete control of the whole team, and he also motivates the person. So these are the roles of the particular physiatrist. That is, first they will evaluate the patient. They will find out what is the aims and goals of the person. According to that, they will choose the rehabilitation team members in a team. Then they will plan the goal. Then they will organize, execute the things. He will be coordinating among each members. He will have the control of all the members. He will motivate them, and he will bring the needed rehabilitation for the particular person. Is that clear? So that is the work of the physiatrist. So next is related to rehabilitation nurse. So rehabilitation nurses, their main role is, if you see, they will be the close members along with the patient. So they will be the next caretaker. So first the patient will be there, then the caretaker will be there. Then along with them, you will have the rehabilitation nurse who will be working very closely with them. Then this nurse will be coordinating the day-to-day patient care. So daily, what are the things the patient need to do? Or daily, she will be coordinating with the team members and the patient in a day-to-day basis. Okay, she will be taking care how it is going, and she will guide all the team members in a daily basis. Then along with that, she will be educating the patient and the caretakers regarding the medical and health issues, as well as she will be providing the needed things. Then she also need to be like a support and coach to the patient to practice newly skilled learned skills. So once the particular team member teaches some exercises and comes out, she will be monitoring them, whether they are doing it, whether they are doing it correctly. All these things are monitored by the rehabilitation nurses. Then she will be often delivers a transdisciplinary approach also. Actually, she is a perfect example of a transdisciplinary approach. So sometimes she will be acting as a nurse, sometimes she will be acting as a caregiver, sometimes she will be cleaning the persons, looking after the personal hygiene. So in that case, she will be acting as a scavenger. Then she will be feeding the patient. So that time she will be acting as a caregiver. Then she will be like, after you teach the exercises, she sometimes make the person to do the exercises. That time she'll become like a physiotherapist trainer, like that. So she is the best example for transdisciplinary approach. Okay, so she is a very important person who knows both medical aspect and the patient aspect, and she will be giving the feedback to the complete team. Okay, so when you go, then before you see the patient itself, she will give you the complete feedback that this person did not do exercises today, this person did the exercises perfectly, and he was having this problem while doing exercise, like that. So she will be giving the complete feedback to the complete rehabilitation team. Next, so what is the role of a physiotherapist? So our role is mainly to maintain the movement restoration. So our role is to make the person to be come back to their normal life as early as possible. So movement or uh, restoring the movement is the main role of a physiotherapist. So for restoring this movement, you need to undergo the assessment. That means the patient, the therapist will be doing a lot of assessments to make to know what is the issue behind each factor. Then accordingly, they will be designing the treatment program, and they will be executing the treatment program. Okay, then. So the first is to evaluate the particular person, then exercises to the particular person, then evaluate and train the particular person, like train the patient's balance according to the need, then improve their strength, coordination, and use any other physical modalities in case if they needed it. Okay, so apart from that, you need to aid in home evaluation to make the environment barrier free and accessible. Okay. Progressive grade training also, like you will be seeing the patient. According to the patient, you have to see what is the problem of the person, whether he needs any extra needs, like any walking aid or any processes and orthoses. Accordingly, you will be doing the referrals, as well as you will be making them to use it and work for it. Okay. Then last is exercise to reduce spasticity. So these are our main role. So in short, I can say our main role is bring back their lost functional activities. So depends on if they have spasticity, according to that. If they have weakness, and according to that. If they don't have the limb, then you have to refer to the prosthesis and orthotics, so that they fit him with a artificial limb. So according to the need, you have to do. So to know the need, you have to undergo the evaluation. Okay, so this is our role. Okay, 1 minute. Next is, what is the role of a occupational therapist? So occupational therapist, I hope you know who is occupational therapist. They will be looking after the affected function, and along with that they will be taking care of the job opportunities. That means physiotherapist will make them to be functional, and occupational therapist will make them to be functional along with the job. So sometimes because of the disability, the particular person may lose their job, or they may not be able to go back to their job. So the work of the occupational therapist is train the person and make him eligible to a particular job. So if he is able to go back his own job, then they will give the training accordingly. If he is not able to uh, do his own job, then they will be taking they will be giving him training in a different job, and they will get that particular job. So this is the work of the occupational therapist. So other than that, mainly their work will be along with the physiotherapist. So they also will do a evaluation, and they also will mainly they will be concentrating on the ADL activities, especially on the upper limb. Okay. Then they will be giving the like they will be explore the vocational skills of the patient, and according to that they will be training the person. Okay, so occasional skills means other than his proper job, what are the other activities he is involved. So according to that they will be giving the treatment session, or they will be designing the treatment program, and they will make them fit for the particular vocational job. So for example, a person has stroke, and because of the stroke he may not be able to improve his upper limb and lower limb. So if he is like his right upper limb and lower limb is affected, then this occupational therapist will try to maximize the function in the right upper limb and lower limb. If they are not able to do, then they will improve the function of the left hand, and teach them some occasionally training in that, like maybe making a basket, doing any work, making, doing typing, doing computer typing, taking printouts, or even like getting a job in the petrol pump, like that. So they will maximize his skills in the other hand, and they will make them to work for that. They will try to get a job for the particular person. Okay, so that is the work of the occupational therapist. Sometimes they will also give training to with the assistive technologies, like they may also teach them a new job aspect, and train them in that particular job aspect, and make them to gain their job. Okay, so that is the major role of the occupational therapist. So most of the time this physiotherapist and occupational therapist will work together to make the person independent in functional and the aerial aspect. Okay. So the next person is orthotist and prosthetist. So this is a special person who will be able to make or who will be eligible to prescribe and design a orthosis and prosthesis for a particular person. So this orthotist and prosthetist are nothing but they will be having their basic education in orthotist and prosthetist. So that means they will get training how to make this particular one. That is how to make the shoes, how to make the prosthetic limb, how to make the walking aid, like that. They will be learning about all these aspects. Then they are the one to give training as well as to prescribe or to design a particular aid for the particular person. So it may be simple orthosis or simple splint to a very complex processes. Okay, so they do everything customized, and they give the training. They fit it for the patient. They will give the training how to use that, and they will look after that. So that is their major work. So the therapist or the physiotherapist or occupational therapist will give referral to these people for making the particular things. The next is psychologist. So this they have a very big role in rehabilitation, because if one particular person's function is affected, definitely he is sorry, definitely his psychology will be affected. So whenever our functional ability is affected, our psychology also will be affected. So that's why they lose their they may become depressed, they may lose their cognitive abilities, they may lose their memory and all those things. So it may be, the role may be from a simple counseling to a very complex education. Okay, so if a problem is very simple, like a depressed and other thing, with a simple counseling, they will be able to set right them. Or else, like if not, if the problem is higher, then like memory and other thing, then they will be giving training so that they bring back their old memories. Okay, so their role is also a important one, and it is a major one depending on the patient. Next is speech and language therapist. So these people will be evaluating and treating the cognitive communication, swallowing and feeding disorder, and they will also be like involved in the hearing deficit. So if a person is not able to speak properly, then they will understand whether it is like a bony problem, or it is because of some other problem in the brain or some other issues in the brain. They have lost this particular aspects. So they have to evaluate that. They normally deal with the aphasia, dysarthria, and aphasic person. They will be like teaching them how to speak. They will be teaching them how to move their tongue and how to improve their speaking ability, how to understand the language. All those things they will be teaching. So not only that, they will also take care of their food habits. So that means, most of the time when the person is affected with the speech, that means their tongue and the like tongue will be involved in the neurological problem, and these patients will not be able to eat properly or swallow properly. Instead they will be they may end up in engulfing into the lungs. Okay, so they may damage the lungs, or the food particle may enter into the lungs, and they may end their life. So this speech and language therapist will be taking care of all those aspects also, along with the uh, along with making the person to speak and bringing the speaking ability. Along with that, they will be doing the other aspect also. Next is audiologist. So this is only for hearing loss and provides different aspects or different theory, different types of therapists for it. So these people will be involved in case if the person has a speaking problem, a hearing problem. Okay. So according to the need only, you will be putting them together in the rehabilitation unit. So their aim is to bring back the hearing, bring back their hearing loss. Then if they need any assistive devices like hearing aid and other thing, then they will be giving them the hearing aid. Okay. See, totally how many students are taking this rehabilitation? R6, R7, 16 of them. R5, one of them, so totally 17. Then PD9, 22, right? Is it 29? Sorry, is it 22? Then that means total strength of the class is, how much is the total strength of the class? 39, right? Can anybody talk? How much is the total strength? Because I find students are keep on entering. Okay, total is 39. So the main work of the audiologist is to provide the check the hearing ability, give training to improve the hearing ability. If they are not able to improve, then they will be giving the hearing aids to help them to hear. Next is respiratory therapist. So they evaluate and help the patient in breathing techniques. So this will include the ventilator also. So depends on. So they are the responsible person to maintain the complete respiratory status. Okay. So in Western countries, they will be having a separate category called respiratory therapist. But in Asian setup, we don't have a separate one. We will be acting as a transdisciplinary person only. So we will also take care of the respiratory. Okay, but in Western countries, they will have a separate therapist to take care of the respiratory status of the particular person. So here they will evaluate the respiratory capacity, and according to that they will be giving treatment, and according to them they will give any device or anything to use it. So next is dietitian. So their main role is to take care of the nutritional status. So this is very important, because if the person is keep on doing exercise and they are not able to they are not taking care of the nutritional status, then they may not be able to do the exercises and other thing. So uh, that's why like this dietitians are nowadays they play a very major role. Okay, then they take care of the patient according to the disease. They modify the diet and they give them the good education about the diet, and then they will be giving them the details of the diet. Next is recreational therapist. So their main aim is to adopt the patient to the leisure activities. So before having the problem, the patient may be a very social, they will be getting involved in a lot of social activities. They may be getting involved in a lot of leisure activities like football, basketball, or any other aspects. So this recreational therapist work is to bring back their leisure activities. So if a person has any problem, it doesn't mean that he should not leave his leisure activity. He can continue his leisure activity, and that is a major work of this recreational therapist. Next is occupational therapist. They are also like occupational therapist, where these people will be getting involved in the evaluation and impact of the illness or injury on the vocational aspect. So occasional aspect is social aspect. So here the occasional therapist will make the people well adopt to the particular new setup, and they will be making them to uh, assist the like making bringing back their all their vocational aspect. They will give training and bring back all their interest. Okay, so first they have to find out what is their interest. Second, they have to find out what is their habits. Then accordingly they will be organizing and giving them the training. Exactly. So that is a major work of this vocational therapist. Not only that, they also look for the social aspect of the particular person. So they will also see whether the person is able to do the exercises at home properly, whether he needs some more assistance, whether he needs some more counseling or motivation. So all these aspects the person will be looking after. Then next is social worker. So the social worker aim is to give full support for the patient, then the family, then also give them the psychosocial support. Okay, so they will try to get the details. So for example, a person is having spinal cord injury, and because of that they may not be able to go back to their normal life. So in this aspect, they will be getting the link from the government, and they will check where to take this particular person, where to get registered this particular person. If he is a new rehab, like a new patient who is in the wheelchair, then where to register them, where to get all the so regarding their maybe this social worker will be acting in between to the government and the people. Okay? So they will give the full information about that. The next is case manager. So case manager is in case if the person is having some problem, and in case if the person is having some insurance issues, having some problems in getting back his money, all those aspects will be seen by this case manager. So they will take care of the aspects, and they will try to get his maximum amount from the government or from any other setup. So they will be coordinating between the government and the patient, and they will do all the needful for them. So if they want to get any government benefits, any government allowances, any registration they want to do, all these aspects will be taken care by the managers. Then last is chaplain. So chaplain is normally in Western countries, you will be having a person called chaplain. So this person is will be having a religious background, and according to the religion they will give the support. So in case if they are a Christian, then according to that they will be giving them the giving them the talking about their spiritual aspects and other thing. Then they will help them to cope up with the current situation with them. So it depends on whether the sometimes we may have chaplains in all the religions also. So some Christian, some Hindu, some Muslim, like all the religion also will have the chaplains. So according to their culture and according to the book, the guidance will be given. So it is mainly to support the spiritual aspect of their body. Okay. So these are some of the other team members who will be getting involved in the rehabilitation team. So why I have not included them means because there are more and more people. So we just see who and all will be involved in the rehabilitation aspect in a major way. Okay, so that particular person will be has been chosen. Other than that, you have bioengineer who taken care of the uh, equipments in the hospitals. You have child life specialists like that. A lot of people are there. Teachers, then music therapists, podiatrists, like that. So many people are there who will be getting involved in the rehabilitation, but depends on the need of the person. So next is what are the advantage? So do you want any break? I think it's better I give you 5 minutes break. Okay, don't go out. The time is now I think 2:55. So we will start the class by 3:10. Okay, just a 10 minutes break for you. See, don't log out. Okay, just remind. You can just get up, walk around, and come back. Otherwise, you will be feeling sleepy. Okay, so just get up, walk around, and come back. Okay, so can we start? Can we start? Okay. So, other than the one whichever we have seen, there are a lot of other team members also. If needed, they will be included. Like, for example, if a sports person has any injury or anything, then they may call the kinesiotherapist. Then if they want to give training in water, they can call this hydrotherapist. So even though physiotherapists also will be able to give the training, but these people are little more experts on that particular aspects. So depending on the need, they will be calling. So that's where your interdisciplinary approach also will come. Okay, so no, it is not that the hospital should have all these people. So if needed, the hospital will try to call the other team members from outside the hospital. Is that clear? So if you take up one particular rehabilitation of a person, then they may have multidisciplinary approach, may have interdisciplinary approach and transdisciplinary approach. All three together also is possible to work out. Yes. So what is the advantage of this approach? So multidisciplinary approach or like any of the things. So first is the patient and the family will be finding it easy to communicate with the team members. And uh, rather than the patient and the family members going into different like they have to search the other people and they have to go to the particular clinic and get the treatment, that is very difficult. So the advantage of this multidisciplinary is under one leadership, the particular leader will be taking all the people around whosoever is needed, and they will be able to work together. So if you are finding it separately, then you need to go in different timing for them. They may not have the coordination among themselves, they may not talk among themselves. So it will not be in a good coordinated form. So each and every people will be doing their work in an overlapping manner, as well as they will not be able to reach the particular goal, and it may be very costly if you are going individually. But this multidisciplinary team means then it is little more cheaper compared to the other, and the professionals will be coming and seeing the patient in that particular hospital or a room. The patient need not go to the different people. Then other than that, the knowledge and the skills will be brought it together, and it is very easy to make decision. So within, for example, every week the therapist, the physiatrist will be having a meeting with all the team members, and they will be asking them to summarize the improvements and other things. So if there is no improvement, then they will talk and decide it immediately, so it will not take long time. So if you are going separately, so the speech therapist will take at least minimum 2 to 3 months to know what is the improvement or what is the problem. Then according to that, she has to go and talk to the other person. Again, that also will be taking long time. But when this multidisciplinary approach is there, where all the team members will be there, they will be meeting together at regular intervals. They will talk, they will discuss the improvement. If they find that this particular aspect is wrong or not working for that particular person, then immediately they will change the direction. So like this, the decision making will be very quick, and the reaching the goals and the needed other interventions will be done very easily, and reaching the goals also will be very easy, and it will be in a uh, multidisciplinary mode, so that the particular person achieves the goal in a short time. Next is, what is the disadvantage of this? Sometimes the team may collapse. So team may collapse means they may have some ego clashes. They may not talk to each other. They may not mingle with each other. They will be like, they will not be supportive. They will be talking ill of the others, and they will not work together sometimes. Okay, so it is not that every time. The first and foremost problem is the person is decided who is going to lead the team. So some patients may need more of occupational therapy and very less of the other one. Some patient may need more of occupational, more of dance therapist, very less of others. So in this case, it is not mandatory that the physiatrist have to be the leader. You can put the other person as a leader. So the person who is having maximum role in a particular patient can lead the program. If not, then it will end up in full mess. Okay, so it's very important that the team lead may change. So according to the individual need, you can change the leader. If you don't change, if the physiatrist alone is the team leader for all the persons, then he may not be able to contribute properly, and he may not like certain team member, then he will not get involved in the particular team member. So in that aspect, the patient will be getting affected. Then other thing is, they may clash the contributions, and they may destroy the whole functioning team. Okay, so they may think that because of them only they have the improvement, and they may be talking ill of the others, and they may not be functioning, contributing properly to the benefit of the patient. So which will lead to, or which will be destroying the complete function of the person. The next is it may consume much time, and it may be costly. The patient may to spend a lot, so it will not be able to it will not be available immediately. Okay, it may take some time, it may take some cost effective. Then personal shortage. Sometimes, for example, a particular person in a team is going for a long vacation. So that particular team person may not be replaced. So that will also affect the rehabilitation of the particular person. Then some people will have lack of confidence and trust opinions. So this also will affect the individual's decisions and other improvement. Okay, so these are the disadvantage of multidisciplinary function. Next is delivery of rehabilitation care. So how we can deliver this rehabilitation care? Okay, so even though if you have some drawbacks, but still multidisciplinary approach will be helping a lot, or rehabilitation will be helping a lot for a particular patient. So how is this rehabilitation care is delivered? So it is delivered in various aspects. So it has nearly six different type of deliveries. One is institutional based rehabilitation. Institutional based rehabilitation means where that is done in a hospital setup. Okay, so maybe the patient will be in the hospital room, and the rehabilitation will be done in the institutional thing. But when the patient is getting discharged, they may find it difficult to do the same thing at home. Okay, so that is the main drawback of this institutional based rehabilitation. But main advantage is there will be lot of availabilities. So they will have different things that is available. They can use the materials and other aspects, available aspects in the institution. They will have lot of equipments. So all those things can be used in the institutional. But in case of like if they are doing it at home, then all these instruments will not be available at home. So there is a major drawback of other an advantage of the institutional based rehabilitation. But drawback is after the discharge, the patient might find difficult to do the same thing at home. For example, you can take up the hospital couch. The hospital couch is definitely different than the house couch. So in the house, you will not be able to tilt the bed, move the bed, or do anything. So it will be flat, straight. But the hospital bed will be different. You can change the direction, tilt according to the need. So that will be very easy. But immediately, if you send the patient home, they may find it difficult to do at home. Okay, so that is a drawback. Then second type of delivery is home-based rehabilitation. So to avoid the institutional-based rehabilitation drawbacks, what they do is they also do the rehabilitation at home. Like the best example is your home visit. So the team members will be going to their particular patient's home and doing the needful. So when they do this home visit, one is cost effective. So the cost will be very high. Some patient may not be able to bear it. So the people have to call the physiotherapist, occupational therapist, or speech therapist, like this. Different people will be called to home and they will be giving the treatment at home. So advantages according to the home, according to the availability at home, they will be given the treatment, and um, this will help them to mimic their day to day life. Okay, but disadvantages is it is very costly. So that is a disadvantage. Third is daycare center, where you can go and leave the patient there, like an old age home. You will leave the patient there for months or years, sometimes daily also you can do. So there also you will have a set of team members. They will be doing the needful thing. Okay, then next is outpatient clinic, like our physio clinic. So here for each and every uh, you need to go to a different clinic. You need to go for a speech therapist separately in a clinic, physiotherapist, occupation therapist, the sports therapist, like that. Each person will be in a different clinic, and you need to take the person to their clinic. So this is the disadvantages is time consuming and it will be very costly. And fifth one is camps, where the government will be running this. So the government will conduct camps and it will be doing like a social service. They will teach, like maybe they will create awareness, they will give the training, they will give the walking aids free, all those things. So the government institution will run the camps. Sometimes we also run the community camps, right? We go to the particular community, and every house we go and we collect the data. Then after that we make a framework. Then we will get the things, get the needed things, and then we will go to them and we will be giving to them. So this is the camps. It is run by any government institution or a private institution which wants to do any uh, welfare activities. Okay. The last one is community-based rehabilitation. So community-based rehabilitation is where the rehabilitation is done at the community level. So as soon normally this industrial-based rehabilitation and community-based rehabilitation should go together. That means immediately when the patient is getting discharged from a institution, then he has to go into the community-based rehabilitation, where in the community they will be taking care of their house. They will be, for example, in the institution you teach the person a wheelchair. For a spinal cord injury person, you teach them the wheelchair activities, you teach them how to go into the wheelchair, come out of the wheelchair, on all those things. But if the person's house is in the first floor and they don't have any lift facility, then what is the use of the training? There is no use, right? So that's why you give something called community-based rehabilitation, where you will be going to the particular person's house and according to their need, you will design the rehabilitation, and as a team, whole team, you will be working on it. Nowadays, many of the hospitals have this set up together. For example, in India, there is a hospital called as CMC Vellore. They have a community-based rehabilitation center in a district called Vellore, where they will be having they it's a typical neurological setup, where they will be having institutional based rehabilitation. Immediately in the side they will be having community based rehabilitation. They will be having a hut, they will be having a house, all those things. Then they will teach them how to get in the house, how to get in the heart, all those things. Okay, I can also you can find a lot of videos in the YouTube. So it is called as Bahayam. Okay, so here also we have something in the Chiras Rehabilitation Center. So where both the setups will be together and the rehabilitation is done in both the aspects. So when you send the patient home, they will be getting well trained for their home-based activities, and they will be able to work. So for example, your institutional bathrooms will be different, hospital bathrooms will be different, will be bigger enough so the patient can go to that particular bathrooms in the wheelchair itself, go inside and turn, then they have lot of space. But in house we will not have all those aspects. Okay, so we need to teach them according to their availability. So that is called your community-based rehabilitation center, rehabilitation. So this is there in a well-developed countries and all will have lot of setup like this. But in underdeveloped countries and developing countries, this particular CBR is not that much developed. But this is main strategy is to equalize the opportunities, to reduce the poverty and to socialize the person with difficulties. So in community-based rehabilitation, we have four aspects. One is medical aspect, educational aspect, economic aspect, and the social aspect. So that means all the four aspects of the people's need is taken care. There is medical aspect regarding the medicines and the drugs. That aspect is taken care. Then educational aspect also will be taken care. If it is a student, then they will teach you how to go to school and get the education, or how to go to a particular center and get the education. Then economic is they will be looking after the patient's welfare. They will be giving them a lot of monetary benefits. They will get the benefits from the government and they will be giving them. They'll find out the job opportunities for them. According to that, they will give the training and make the particular person fit for the particular job and get the job. So that is economic aspect. Then last, a social aspect is if a particular person is liking to um, like how to bring back their social life to a particular person. So that aspect is taken care by the social. So all these four aspects will be taken care in the community-based rehabilitation also. Okay, so we also take all these aspects into consideration in the institutional-based rehabilitation. In community-based rehabilitation also it is taken care properly. So what is the aim of this community-based rehabilitation? One is to prevent disabilities. Another one is like to identify the disabilities and either restore or to give the modification. Okay, so either they have to restore the disability or give the modifications according to that. Okay, so that is the first aim. Second is identification of high risk infant and mothers. So this one they also sometimes do in the pregnant mothers. Find out whether the baby is affected by this particular problem and other things. So if the baby is affected more and if they feel that the mother will not be able to raise up the baby, then they will go for abortion also. Okay, so that is the identification of high risk infants in the mother. So this way also we will be able to reduce the disability. Okay? Then third is to early detect the disability and manage the disability. And assessment of the needed people. Then parental involvement, home-based program, play group and the schooling. So all these aspects will be coming under the community-based rehabilitation. So all these aspects will be taken care by the rehabilitation team. Is that clear? So what are the criteria to for the community-based rehabilitation? One is coordinate social service delivery at local level. Okay. Then inclusion of disability person. Then life quality improvement. So all these criteria have to be seen. According to this criteria, you need to evaluate the patient, and then only you need to plan the treatment process. It is not it is not according to the condition, it is according to each person. So each person will be acting differently for all these criterias. So that's why when you are setting up the treatment, you need to community based rehabilitation, you need to check for these criterias, evaluate these criterias, then you design the treatment protocol. Okay. So any doubt so far? Is any doubt so far? So we'll just see like how the like how to answer the case scenario kind of questions. All the questions will be like this only. So 60-year-old female got a fall and fractured her hip, for which hip replacement surgery was done. Okay. So what is the discuss about the role of rehabilitation member for this? So for this particular case scenario, you need to see like what are the team members you need to include and what is their role. Okay, so first you all have to think what are the team members need to be involved in this particular patient and what is their role. Is that clear? Last, just brief about the role of physiotherapist in all the aspects, preventive treatment and restoration aspects. Okay, so we will discuss this case scenarios along with the tutorials. Okay, so you prepare the answer for this, then we can discuss. I think we have a lot of time. So can we have a discussion now? See, tell me something, then only I will know. Okay. So I will just divide you into two groups. So one group will be planning for case scenario one, other group will be planning for case scenario two. Okay. So you can just take down the case scenario. Okay. So both the case scenarios you can just take down. First is a 60-year-old female got a fall and fractured her hip. After that, she has undergone a hip replacement surgery. Okay, so after all the hip replacement protocols, you discuss the role of rehabilitation members. What are the rehabilitation members that will be involved in the particular case and what is their role? Okay, brief about the role of physiotherapist in preventive treatment and restoration aspects. That is, how do you prevent fall from that? Then how do you treat the fall? Then how to restore the. Okay, this is case scenario one. Case scenario two was a 25-year-old woman delivered baby through vaginally. Discuss about the role of rehabilitation members. Brief about the role of sorry, here you cannot have the second question. You can just have the first question. Okay, so I will divide you into two groups now. Okay, please join the rooms. Okay, so I will give you 15 minutes for discussion. Hi everybody. See, you can talk here. You don't need to chat.
Hi.
You can talk among yourselves.
Hello.
Guys, discussion means you need to discuss among yourself. Okay. So what's going on here? Anybody is talking or just remain silent? See, you can on your microphone, like you can unmute yourself, talk among yourself, discuss. Okay, don't just remain silent.
Ma'am, is that just like, for example, we need to discuss the role of rehabilitation member, for example,
First
like
you
gynecologist?
Yeah, first you need to discuss who are the members that will be getting involved in that particular case.
For
Then what
example,
is the role?
like gynecologist and OT staff nurse, is it in that way?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank
No,
you.
no, this is like rehabilitation means after their crucial time. So that is your rehabilitation. It is in the tertiary. That means like it is not in the, it is not, rehabilitation will be starting after your normal period of discharge. Who and all will be involved after that. So for example, it is a normal delivery means after 3 days of 3 days they will get discharged. So after that, who are the team members, they will be getting involved. So physiotherapist, gynecologist, then
Vaccinate the people
okay,
in that way?
yes.
Okay.
You did not join the break room.
Not enough time.
Okay, so any one of you from group 1 can come and discuss or just brief us what you have discussed.
Hi, Miss.
Yes.
So for the case scenario 1, so the first question, the rehabilitation members that involved in this case is physiotherapists, doctors, nurses, family members, orthotists, prosthetists, and occupational therapists. Yeah.
Okay, come again.
The rehabilitation members that involved in this case, because case scenario 1, patient is having a fall and done the hip replacement surgery. So the rehabilitation members involved is physiotherapists,
Okay.
and then doctors, nurses, family members, orthotists, prosthetists, and occupational therapists.
Okay. So physiotherapist, okay. So occupational therapist, like, do you think you need them?
Yeah, because patient is having a fall, and then occupational therapists can help in environmental modifications, like modify their home. Yeah, because patient is a elderly person.
Elderly person. So
Yeah, like modify to prevent
modifications and
fall.
all. Do you think vocational therapists will be able to do better than occupational therapists, right?
So
Or
sorry, miss.
vocational therapist or social worker will be able to do
Oh,
better than them, right?
okay. But
Clinical social
occupational
worker,
therapists can improve their
ADL,
ADL also.
ADL. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, so second question for the prevention and treatment. What is the role by a therapist to prevent, treat, and to? What is the second question? Role of physiotherapist in prevention, treatment, and restoration. So prevention, you just give me 2 points. How do you prevent fall for an elderly?
Prevention, like advise the patient use assisted devices like walking frame in a house to prevent fall.
Okay, so you need to do a fall evaluation, right? So for geriatric patients, you have something called fall
Yeah.
evaluation. So you need to do that to prevent fall.
Okay, miss.
Okay, then like treatment, we know that we will do all the hip replacement protocol. So restorative also, okay, no problem. So mainly preventive only is a new thing for you in rehabilitation. So here prevention, when you say, you need to talk about two aspects. One is the geriatric fall prevention. Other one is fall after this. After the hip replacement surgery, you need to definitely prevent their fall, because if they fall again, then they are going to damage the processes. Then they have to redo the surgery. Okay, so that is one aspect. Other aspect is the whole, before, like the whole of the geriatric population, how do you prevent the fall? So you have something called fall evaluation, where you have to evaluate that and find what are the aspects they are having drawbacks, and you have to correct it. I hope this is a complete geriatric question. You all have completed geriatrics?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so second group.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss.
Yes.
Okay. The role is the physiotherapist
Okay.
and then a family member and also doctor and nurse
Okay.
and then psychiatrist and psychologist.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So why you
Thing
feel
like this.
psychologist is involved?
Oh, because the patient might have the postnatal depression.
Okay. Some patient may have.
May have, yeah.
So one more thing, I think somebody has included dietitian.
Okay. Okay.
So do you think you need something like abdominal binders?
That one is,
If they have diastasis recti, then severe diastasis recti, then you need to give something called abdominal binders, right?
oh, yeah.
So for that, you need orthotist.
Okay.
So anybody else you want to add, any person, any other person? Okay, so role of each one of them we already know. You would have read in women's health. So what is the role of physiotherapist? What is the role of doctors, nurse? Like we already know what. So we don't want to go in detail. Okay, so overall, do you have any doubt? I have uploaded the slides of both the classes, tutorials. Then I have uploaded the book and teaching plan. Okay, so now I will upload the recordings. Is that clear?
Yes, Miss.
So if no other doubt, then we will end the class. Thank you all.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Thank you.